Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for another AfterBuzz After Show for Call the Midwife Series 5, Episode 2. And I'm John Comerford. Joining me are Marissa Serafini.
Hello, everyone.
Tamara Bird.
Hello.
And we welcome back Courtney Stewart.
Yay. Hello.
You're here, Courtney, on a very successful, I forgot what it was. It was a site location.
Yes, TechScout. Yes.
Nice.
We got it done.
Okay, but today, right now, we're talking about Call the Midwife. And once again, I thought, no, it's not gonna happen. And I don't even know why I try or bother trying, but thing gets me every week. Every week. And I don't know why I bother trying.
Every time.
No,
So
why
just-
bother? That's pretty much my motto on this show.
And more than once too. And some of the we'll talk about all of them. But right now, I wanted to start with the Stella Johnny story.
All right.
Oh my God!
get
Yeah,
right
so
into
we
it.
saw Barbara really stepping up into her role
she
as a
is.
midwife, as opposed to what we've seen her before. You know,
Being in the background.
Exactly. That this is her story. In fact, they even talk kind of about you're new, you're still new, you don't have the battle scars, and no. Yeah, she steps
can get
forward.
it.
Because she's even called the warrior. She's a warrior by Tom, the pastor.
Mm-hmm.
So, so what did you think about the storyline? I thought, Courtney, what does that face me?
I mean, jeez, every time, man. You're right. They get us every time,
Yeah, I
and I'm
know.
like, I'm not gonna get all like, dang it, the baby. He was sick all this time. We didn't know.
I
Like,
know.
How
Yeah.
could nobody have known? And
Yeah.
then he's dying. Yeah. But go the doctor for giving him that pep talk while he was dying. 'Cause I was
Yeah.
like, keep him alive, and he looked awful.
He did look
Well,
really
the
awful.
opening of the show, they were talking about, the voiceover was talking about how the
docs
the
are-
the 60s brought innovation,
Right, okay.
and for it was making chores easier,
Right.
giving us better convenience, and for
creating
some
dreams too.
Right, exactly. And for some people, it was, uplifting and exciting. And for others, it sort of shone a light, especially people in Poplar,
Right.
on what they didn't
Right.
have. Excuse me. And so that's kind of where Stella was coming from
Right.
of, I want, and I want to have the best for my baby. And Johnny, you're just not providing.
Yeah, working on you need to make more. You need to want less.
You need to want less. Exactly.
Which I thought was a great line.
Yeah.
A good argument too. Really encapsulated everything.
Yeah.
All of it.
But I also thought was wonderful the way. Let's see who. This is Harriet Warner wrote this episode. I thought the way they laid in that, because I thought, what is he, drunk? What I mean,
What-
so
yeah,
much of what
yeah.
one of the first times we see him by the dock, he's like stumbling and
Yes.
going. But then when we see him, because we do see him in the bar, she catches him in the bar, but he's been nursing,
One pint for
forever.
all day.
A long time.
And they did a great job of not really tipping their hand about what it was all, because I didn't
I
have
totally
a clue.
judged him. I
Did
was
you?
like,
Yeah.
you lazy, you lied, and what? She's about to have this baby on the floor, and you're sitting in a bar. Like, so I totally bought into all of that. And didn't get
And
into
I
it.
think that was really good directional wise
Yeah.
to throw us off.
Yeah.
And got us more
great.
invested at the end when all that went down.
For sure.
Even Harry was talking about how they kept, his family might have been good workers, but not him, because we find him asleep. What's it called? The shy work, I think is what he called it, shy work.
Yeah.
I thought that was just laid in nicely. I mean, the fact that he wasn't even drinking that pint that was on the table and everything like that. Yeah, I bought it too. I was right there.
He was more so
Get off your ass.
contemplating
Yeah. What are you doing?
Yeah, which made it really all the more traumatic for the wife when she realized, oh, oops.
Yeah.
Well, so when the pram came in,
Yeah.
speaking of judging,
Yeah.
I was pretty much sure he'd stolen it.
That's what I said. That I said I probably stole the thing or
Yeah.
something. Like, I was just right there, just
I
judging that
judged
crap.
him all the way, the whole time.
And then to use the docking hook is the thing that he hawks.
Oh my
The
God.
multi-generational docking hook. I said, oh man, she gets it back, and I was just, And I was so under that I wasn't really paying attention to any of it. But it was when it was all laid out, I go, man, that was nicely done. I thought it was really well.
Totally agree.
So
subtly.
the moment when Stella went to go bring him his lunch, and the Mr.
Harry, the
Gilbert,
doctor.
it's Harry, was that his
Yeah,
first name?
yeah.
Mr. Gilbert went, and she said, you know, what he's obviously got the
he's got
shit
shit
because
back, yeah.
and what the way he said it, he's not working here. Johnny's been telling
Telling
lies.
Lies.
That was harsh.
Yeah.
And
you know, for so many reasons.
Pregnant lady that? Are you
Yeah, no.
insane? Just be
You
like,
caused
hey,
her to break
you
down
need
for
to go talk to your husband. Like,
Yeah,
you just
exactly.
let it go. He's a liar.
But
That's
as he says,
so
this is
harsh.
industry and ain't charity, so he doesn't care.
true.
And which is great because his turnaround was nice too. It's like because when the nurse Barbara, and she talks to him, the midwife, and really makes him look at himself and everything. And she says you should respect these men even if you're not going to protect them. And you know, I mean that made that whole thing work.
Yeah, I thought that was great because also she even stands up to men against this story
Yeah.
along with just society itself.
She was the warrior.
environment.
Nice
Yeah,
little shift.
exactly.
And she scolded Johnny too before it was clear that he was sick.
Yeah.
You know, she was saying, you know, you need to tell her the truth. You need to, you know, be honest with your wife and let her know what's going on. So the moment where Stella, wait, I just got her name right. Stella was kicking him out.
Yeah, that was a horrible scene. I mean, it was a great scene, but it was just like, oh, ouch, awkward. Nurse Bart, the
Midwife's hanging out like, I'm gonna go put the kettle on.
not really what I meant. I didn't mean for you to kick him out. Wait.
But also, it's like, how can you survive without him, though? I mean, I know she's been,
But
you
her
know, she's
argument
been
was-
struggling
Her
this whole
sister.
time.
And
I
her
get
argument
that.
was great. I'm
didn't
carrying
need him?
this. I can't carry you too.
No.
If you're
It
not
was
going to
great.
run your role, I don't need you. I thought that was
But I'm
terrific.
like, girl, you're pregnant. How far can you get, you know, along by yourself? All with the high pressure and the anxiety as well.
It was the 60s, honey.
Yeah.
They're thinking about working, and she was making
Yeah.
a living with her sister's money, basically, at this
Yeah.
point.
I
So
mean, props to her.
Without
And maybe
feeding
she
the
would have changed
husband.
her mind because, you know, she absolutely wouldn't take charity. She said
Yeah.
that, but who knows? Maybe, you know, she would have
The rise,
gone that route. Who knows? We don't know that.
rise of the
But
social
I thought
services.
because of that argument that they had, which I thought was wonderfully staged, and it was just the arguments were perfect because because of the way we've seen him, we don't know he's sick. I don't even know that he knows he's sick.
No.
Right.
Right.
I'm sure
He's
knows
just
something's
tired.
off.
He's just tired.
Just tired.
It'll
Life
pass.
isn't what it was
Yeah,
supposed
yeah.
to be.
But that part was, that made that funeral sequence so. Well, first of all, let's just talk about the cutback. The birth and death sequence is just, I mean.
It was like a crazy football game. Like, he's like, Dr. Turner's like, you can do it, man. You can do it. Make it happen.
Hang in there.
Like, I'm having the baby.
Yeah.
That was nuts.
The
Nail
intercut
biting.
was
Yeah,
nice.
it was definitely
So
nuts.
right, the conversation about inducing her for the
Right.
you know for the
Yes.
good of the family
Family.
Yeah.
because I want to build this family.
Right.
Was what Barbara was saying, you know, talking about how this is something that I can do, you know, to really make a difference for these people. And, you know, it was controversial. There was, I really enjoyed that debate over the
wonderful.
dinner table,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that was great. I loved all those arguments, and I thought they
Yeah.
were spot on. And you know, you could see it all ways. You
Both
could just
ways,
go,
yeah.
absolutely. And I like that, you know, Julianne crystallized it as well because she's saying, look, the man's on his deathbed. Should she be really trying to bring this
Yeah.
child into the world when she could be spending that time, his last moments with him?
Right.
I mean,
Right, because there's also the unknown of when is the baby
'cause we
coming
don't- you
and
have
when is
no
he going
idea.
to
You
die.
might be spending all that time and all that effort, and
for
in the
nothing.
meantime, he's dying, and you're not even there.
Right.
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 I was really surprised how fast he deteriorated after all the information was
I
revealed to us.
know.
Like the next scene,
were like,
I mean,
he's
granted
got a day
editing,
to
but the next
live.
scene, like he was
Dying.
dying
Yeah.
and literally
Yeah.
dying.
Yeah.
So that escalated fast.
Just to back up just a little bit, the dinner sequence where Sister Monica Jones says obstetricians will never be satisfied until women are entirely absent from the sacrament of birth.
That will never happen.
Little foreshadowing.
That will never happen.
Entirely absent.
No.
I mean, it's amazing that it's taken that route But it was all
In a
done at home
relatively
with
short
midwives.
period of
And then,
time.
no, it's got to be
Yeah.
done through us, and even to the point where we're doing far too many cesareans just because it's easier for the doctor, not because it's good for the mother.
Oh, look at you, Mr. Opinionated. Just kidding. I'm just
And now we're making the shift back to the midwifery.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay, so he's gray
Yes.
in the bed. That shot where
they did
he's
that
in the bed
pan
with
down.
the like green and
Green,
blue
yeah.
behind him, and then that sort of, he's very gray. He's very sweaty
Yeah.
and just
ashen and
yeah.
really
Definitely look like death.
death's door.
Yeah.
Terrible.
They really glorify deathbeds.
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
They do that, but they really glorify the births, because I am amazed. Number one, where are y'all getting all these babies to pass as like newborn that pass really well as
Yeah.
newborns? Number one, because you need to tell Grey's Anatomy, because they were using plastic babies and it was like not
Yeah,
okay.
they did not have very good
They did
dolls.
not have. So I'm always like amazed at how the experience, even though we've seen it in every single episode, probably
Right.
multiple times,
Right.
that a baby comes in, like, because
least
the
once.
babies are real and
Yeah.
they don't look like they're 3 months old. Like
Right.
you're drawn into it as this whole new thing every single time,
Yeah.
and I love it so much.
Yeah,
Which
every time,
balanced
by
the
the way,
death
because
for me.
they keep finding new ways to go. How many different angles are there
to shoot
and
the
they
baby
keep
coming
finding
out.
new ones
Yeah.
where you go. Party is going.
It's a lot, but at the same time,
oh my god, yeah,
the miracle of birth.
Exactly.
I think it's
always
also
there.
fun, just like this specific time period they're talking about,
Yeah.
because it's so relatively, the medicine isn't as advanced as it is now. Is the way they approach each situation is, I think, is more entertaining than actually watching the birth.
I want to go back to that dinner sequence where they're all discussing whether they should induce. And
Yes.
What did you initially? Which side did you guys fall on? Like,
I-
no, you shouldn't induce.
I
That's going
was-
to put the mother in jeopardy. Or yes, absolutely, the man's dying. Needs to see his child. What? Anything?
I was so much being able to see both sides.
See both
It was
sides. Oh, really?
really
Even before
hard
Well,
for me.
My initial reaction was, hell no, you don't induce. Like, you don't induce unless something's wrong. Like,
Yeah.
that sounds crazy. And
Right.
the idea that they could induce, and it was something that people would be comfortable with doing at that time, being that they're doing it at home and all
Yeah.
of these things.
Right.
Like, because generally, my understanding, I've not given birth, is that induction happens like if something
Right.
bad is happening,
Right.
like the blood pressure or whatever. So I was kind of like, she already had blood pressure problems. You got that under control. You gonna induce the labor?
But the
Because-
way they were doing it is not how labor is induced now.
No,
I
they
mean,
didn't give her
now
any
it's a drug.
Pitocin, yeah.
Yeah, and then it was these natural methods that that kind of got
steam, the hot
Although,
Exactly.
Castor oil.
although I don't know how natural the
Egg whites.
sweeping was.
Oh, the sweeping. Oh, God, please don't let us talk about the sweeping.
I just went, oh, okay.
It just doesn't. Ugh.
No.
I guess that's how they did it.
You got to do what you
But
got to do.
again, I was thinking, shocking in a sense, but amazing that they were able to do it and make it work for the scene and the story and the show.
Right.
I'm just going, because I don't know any other show that would be able to handle it
Yeah.
that well
Yeah.
and make it so pertinent to the storyline.
Right.
Because otherwise it could just be considered, for shock's sake or something
Yeah.
like it. But it wasn't. First of all, I'd never heard of that kind of thing. Maybe that's just because I'm not in that world. But I thought that was fascinating, and then it handled so well that it was like, wow, that's amazing.
And the way they cut it made
Yeah.
you root. Like, you wanted to root for this baby to get to him on
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
And I did.
Yeah,
And he did.
you did.
So the
Called him John.
right. So Sheila has an ambulance waiting.
Yeah.
And she takes her there, and even that whole time, aren't you kind of going, "Is she gonna make it? Is she gonna make it? Is she gonna make it?"
Yeah.
Exactly. And I kept going, why aren't you just doing this at the London?
Okay, yeah. Can we talk a little
Can't
logistics?
you just do it there?
They're both hospitals.
Yeah.
Hospitals.
So yeah, I don't know, but I'm sure there was some.
Maybe there was extra danger.
You'd
with
still have the
this.
cutback between the two rooms. you know?
Right. Yeah. So she brings him in and says, "This. What does she say? She says,
Stella's line.
yeah, Stella's line. This is your father. Remember him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is your daddy. Remember him. Ugh.
That's what got you, Tim.
All you're thinking
No.
is he's not going to remember his daddy, and it's so sad. Nobody knew he was sick.
No, the thing that got me. But you know what really got me was I want to stay. When he said I want to stay, it's like
Yeah.
If only we knew. We just wanted to know.
Tim's got. All right. Yeah. I want to stay. And again, the funeral sequence. Another thing was it so well laid in were the tramps, as Stella
Yeah.
referred to them, the gentlemen outside who weren't working and begging for food or whatever. and dismissing him, saying that this is no place for raise a child, and that's one of the reasons why, and making me think that okay, that's what those are there for, is to remind us that, you know, she just wants to get out of there. But at the end there, when she has her turn, when she doesn't see them that way, she sees them in that conversation she has with Pastor about, you know, you're doing a good thing, and he goes, hey, I'm just one man, we need an army, and she says one man is one, and then she goes out and feeds him just that act. I just went, wow, that's a big turn for that character in that one show.
Right, and part of it was, you know, her stance about being on the
Charity,
dole
right.
and you know, that kind of thing was, you know, came a lot from her husband. And, you know, he will never take charity. He would never reduce himself to that point. And, you know, we're proud and we...
family history of being able to provide on the dogs and all that other stuff. So.
See, I saw that she looked at the men on the street being that is the potential road and the route that they were going to go on had Johnny kept not going to work. Really, they were eventually going to be those people.
Yeah,
Right.
'cause she was really worried about even losing the
Yeah.
place. And therefore, so.
She didn't want that.
The moment with
Very heavy.
the hook,
Oh
where,
yeah, when she got the doctor.
where Mr. Gilbert gave it back to her. The first time I saw it was on a tiny screen, and so I couldn't read the inscription. And so the second time I watched it on a big screen, and so it had the 3 generations of.
And the wedding picture that was right next to it on the man's. So good.
Anyway, it was beautiful. It was touching. It brought it all around, and I loved it.
I loved it too, and I think it was a better ending for Johnny at the end because, you know, we were built up their whole episode to not like him, and then in the end, all you do is feel for him.
Yeah.
So
That's very
beautiful.
Mr. Gilbert saying, "I'm more sorry than I can say." And gave her money because it's the one way I know how to express myself, kind of. He says, you know, it's not a king's ransom, but it'll see your little prince right.
Yeah.
So even he came around.
He had a soul too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. So if that wasn't enough, let's.
Oh, great. Let's move to the next
Yeah,
heartbreaking
let's do
story,
that,
shall we?
Because we have
Goodness.
Connie, poor Connie, who I don't know how to get into the story with it, because there's a few things. Because there's the whole thing about the formula, and then Tammy came up with the slogan, "The breast is best."
Breast is best.
Breast is best.
It is.
So in the colostrum and the whole thing, and Evangelina being such a proponent of it,
And Connie wants to do it right. She wants to be the right mom. She wants to be the best mom.
like her mom, or that you
Yeah.
know, and doesn't want to disappoint Evangelina, and it was just.
Yeah.
Going on and on. First of all, I loved the woman hooking the formula via the
Oh, that's great.
You know.
The American.
Yeah, it was great PR.
Go
right?
America.
Public relations.
Yeah, and then
Propaganda.
Yeah.
and we want the best for baby. Don't you know? It's going, oh my God, manipulative, right? But I thought
Something
that
we
little-
Americans do best.
Yes, or worse, depending on your point of view.
Thank you. That's exactly what I mean.
So I love that scene. I love Evangelina standing up and saying everything because, you know, that set up the whole story. Yeah, exactly. Calling her Professor Flim Flam and this. Oh my God! What else? What did the language use?
Well, and so interesting because as pertinent as that was in 1961, still happens.
And the
all
judgment
time now.
is still there.
That is
like,
right.
oh my God, I want to be a breastfeeder, but I'm failing. So then I feel like I'm less because
And I'm
I
not
go
a
to
good
formula
mother.
and I'm not a good mom. Like those things are still happening, and it's insane that that's still a conversation.
Speaking of that, I was telling John earlier that I was reading a news article, and someone had said to Heidi Thomas, who's one of the creators of the show and writes a lot of the episodes, she said that someone said to her, whenever your show gets to the point where the pill comes out, the show's going to be over because you won't be able to go any farther. And it was like, duh, because what, women are going to stop having babies?
Yeah, it's not like they
Because the
stopped.
pills came out.
Women are going to stop having issues
Yeah.
and health problems. You know, kind of what a ridiculous thing to say. And it's also just reflected in the fact that this issue of breastfeeding formula and all that is still just as pertinent today, 40, 50 years later. Yep.
For sure.
Yeah.
for sure.
Just as judgy.
Just as judgy.
Just judgy.
Just as judgy. And it's the women judging each other, which is interesting
yeah.
too. Because
Yeah.
Evangeline was the judgy one in that
Very.
moment. She's like, I'm not going to let you do that. And you don't have to do that. Stressing the girl out. And women do that to each other.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's also just being closed-minded to
Yeah.
new opportunities that are available to you, let alone the beliefs and ideals that you grew up with. It's also just the situations and remembering the advantages that
Yeah.
a different situation or a different circumstance can actually help you out in.
Exactly. Every situation is not the same.
Right.
Yes.
I thought
What?
they did a great job of making Connie just look so overwhelmed with the situation, not knowing what to do or who to turn to, how to, just wanting to be the best she could be for her child, but couldn't even say anything.
Right, but committed to
to
that,
it.
like that one
gonna
goal
work.
Yeah.
to the point where she's bleeding.
My inverted nipples will come out and feed this baby.
Yeah.
But
gonna
it just
happen.
the fact that it got to the point where it was now harming the child
Yeah.
is.
And I had never
her
seen
not realizing
those
that.
The suction
discs
Devices.
or whatever. Yeah, I was like, it's that.
Got a lot of friends with babies.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of
It's
things
like,
I didn't want
okay,
to.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So there's that, and then the bleeding.
But yeah, her desperation, what good am I?
Yeah.
If this is what's best for my baby and I can't provide it, what good am I?
And then to think that she almost killed her because she
She
didn't.
was dehydrated and hungry.
Yeah.
Poor baby.
And Mary Cynthia did a fabulous job. I mean, the way she was with Connie was amazing. But then the confrontation she had with Evangelina was just, I mean, again, if
Watch
you're going to
her
have an
influence,
argument with
or what did
somebody,
she
I want to
say?
have it with somebody that's that
I know.
kind.
I really do
Right.
want her to be in my family
Yeah,
so that she
exactly.
can
Yes.
deliver all the bad and
You have
confrontational
such
news.
influence.
Yes.
You had yes.
Go ahead.
Please take care how you use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how many different ways could you
Perfect.
say that?
Yes.
And nowhere near say it that good because
So
usually it's like,
polite and just-
yeah, quit being such a bully.
Yeah.
But that was just such a.
Fantastic.
And then
And then Evangeline's receiving of that
Yeah.
information, Sister Evangeline just going, but that's not what I meant.
yeah, and in completely missing
Implication.
everything, and not because later on when she's talking about first of all when she goes to Connie and she has that scene, she's just the way she apologizes, can't even get the words out, and they catch in her mouth, and just going,
Sorry.
yeah, exactly. It was that was tough. And then when she's talking to Sister Julian, says that
was
she's
too
got to
Oh,
leave.
right.
You gotta go.
She's gotta go. I've got to go
forgotten her
someplace for 6
calling.
months. Yeah, you
Stop
know who I
listening.
am. I'm all mouth. I need to go someplace where I can listen and be with people. But the only person I talk to is above me.
Well, and her quote of, I've got so wrapped up in my work, I've forgotten my calling
Yeah.
to be a vessel for God. And yeah, I mean, we've always, she says, I thought I always knew the best, or I thought I knew best. It was my way or no way. And so I got to get out and, recalibrate, basically.
Yeah, but 6 months. But I got to say, to me, as emotional as the scenes were between Stella and Johnny and the cutback and the baby and all that other stuff, the one that got me the most was the silent one between Evangeline and Monica Jones.
Oh, no words.
Yeah, it was
Like,
just except the last line.
most
It was
simple.
just.
Well, first of all,
Just-
Sister Monica Jones' face when she walked in
Yeah.
and saw her packing, she was the personification of heartbreak.
Yeah.
Just her I just saw it and I was like, her face, stop it. I mean,
Yeah.
beautifully portrayed.
And I have to say,
Beautifully
again, the
portrayed.
one little grace note in the scene before when they're all around the table discussing the inducement,
yes.
she turns to them and goes, you're strangely quiet or oddly quiet.
What a blessing.
Silent. Yeah, what a blessing. What miracle is this?
Yes.
And something's up. She knows something's up. And then when she
Yeah.
sees her in the room, it's the continuation of that moment. And just a simple act of her packing and then Monica Joan unpacking. And then the hands. And I was just like, forget it. I'm gone. I'm gone.
right.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Exactly. Yeah. And then
What will I do?
Pray for me. They're nuns, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I was more heartbroken actually watching her walk away
At the very end.
at the very
there.
end.
Yeah.
It's literally fade to black.
Yeah. And I have to say, I don't care. I love the voiceovers.
Yeah.
They open and close it. There's
yeah.
some people that
I
have
do too.
issue
They're
with
not
it.
into, I like it.
I like them. I don't care. This one I thought was just terrific. The whole idea. Well, and even what are some of the lines, if I can remember them?
Basically getting it down.
We put our faith in the dreams, and love in all its forms. It's
Love
precious,
the-
fragile, it's enduring. Demanding no payment, offered in silence, more precious than gold. And I'm just, yeah.
It's
And-
poetry every
yeah,
time.
it was. It was just.
Just
It's like,
poetry emotion.
that's a good one. Yes, that's kind of how I at the end of it. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Every
how I,
time.
yeah. So.
Brilliant.
I don't know what else to say because
It's beautiful and
I just
eloquent.
wanted to just really decipher every one of those, and it's always those quiet moments between them. It's those little shared. Well, we'll talk about that between Phyllis and the ladies when she went at that.
Oh yeah.
But Monica Joan is killing me.
Absolutely.
All the time.
Yeah, and
All
you
the
know,
time.
just. I don't know. Does it affect
'Cause I
you the
want
same
her to
way? Is
know.
it because I'm older?
I think
No.
she's just such a nurturing person, and then when you see her hurting, it just hurts you while you watch her.
There's like a weird balance of strength and fragility with
Yeah.
her that you're always like, you want her to be okay, and yet somehow she's still making it okay for other people sometimes. But when she's not okay, like it's just always.
You do get the feeling that if one of
weird-
those cards gets pulled out of her house, that all might come crashing. And,
Yeah.
and then Monica, if I stalwart Monica, I mean, I can't depend on Sister Evangeline to be here.
No,
What is my world gonna
Right.
be?
the world is so
Right.
And
different,
yeah, exactly.
and it's already a struggle for her.
Because as much as they kind of get at each other, I mean, they did today with the magpie thing and all that
Yeah.
references, but you know,
But they're
not having
family.
exactly, yeah.
Speaking to that, I was going to talk about this in news, but I might as well bring it up now. That does Sister Evangeline leaving mean that she's leaving?
I don't know.
Is our question.
I don't- it's just-
And we
Better
don't know.
not.
But Pam Ferris, who plays her, says the consequences can be serious when a sister leaves. Of course, this isn't the first time that we've seen someone leave.
Chummy.
No.
Yeah.
Chummy left.
Cynthia left and
Cynthia.
came back as
the nun.
the nun, Mary
Yeah.
Cynthia. Chummy left. Sister Bernadette left, returning as Sheila.
Yes.
You know, I mean, not,
Yeah.
you know. But
Ginny left. Everybody.
but we don't know. It's actually not been reported
Oh, really?
whether or
Wow,
not
okay.
she's,
She's
you know,
coming
like
back.
leaving for good. But Pam Ferris said, as Sister Evangelina gets older, she feels her power starting to fade, and she's just as intolerant of her own mistakes as she has always been of others. And this gives her some difficult times. The consequences can be serious. So whenever someone leaves the Nonnatus house, there is always a big change.
Yeah.
We can say that.
Alrighty.
You know, I mean, think about everyone who's left.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see whether or not that
They
means
still find a
anything.
way. I mean, you know, they always find a way. They always make it work.
Yeah.
Well, she already
Yeah.
had to go away once to get the surgery.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't send her away and bring her back again, would they? Is she
John's
gonna be
theory is she's
gone?
just got a film job and she's going to be on the show for a couple weeks.
have to go away.
That's right. She's just
She'll
got a
be
film
back in
gig.
the
She'll be
last
back.
episode.
Because as we've often talked about, there are only 50 actors in England, and they just got to keep rotating. So when you get a job on one show, you got to go off of that show
There we
because
go.
there's no
Well,
replacement.
as evidenced by that,
Oh, right.
talk about Tommy Smith. who
Tommy
is
Smith, aka Mr. Mason from Downton Abbey.
So there you go.
Our big Downton Abbey fans.
So,
A crossover action going there.
and kind of the midwife counterpart to Sister Evangeline is Phyllis. She's the one that holds the hard line.
Holds
She's
the
the one
hard
that,
line.
She's trying to add structure to their processes
That's
by
right.
pins on the
You
board
get the pins on
and
the board,
getting everybody
be
all
more efficient. you know,
learning
she-
Urdu.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it was also
Driving
because
cars.
she was threatened by the formula. That like she wanted a better structure for the way that they practice medicine, so they don't need the formula.
That's an
theory.
interesting thought.
There you go.
But she does
Right.
provide that similar kind of feel, so that she'll probably take that role on more.
Right,
With
absolutely.
the absence of Sister Evangeline.
I agree. I
Yes.
agree.
Which will make her very comfortable.
So she goes to
Yeah, the whole Spanish thing is
Spanish
like,
Learning
class.
Spanish.
what? We're getting more
That was
business? I like,
exciting.
That's
okay,
funny.
yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah, it was
fun.
exciting.
Then Mr. Mason looking all cute.
Your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
Nope,
Oh,
not yet.
we weren't there yet.
Sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
Got excited.
I predict that comes in early, and then
Yes.
we'll get to that in a second.
All right.
So, because we go to the Spanish class and we start learning Spanish, not Urdu, but Spanish, and we meet Tom, and instantly they're smitten. He
yes.
wants to walk her home. Hey, I have a motor car. Let me drive you home.
Can we point out how cute everybody was in that class?
yeah,
There were some
everybody.
cute boys, cute
Boys, it was a
teacher.
very attractive
It was a
class.
very attractive class.
I
Yes.
approved.
Including Mr. Mason / Tommy Smith.
Yes,
Sorry.
he looks really great.
He
I-
did.
yeah,
he did.
was
But
nice
and I
and
loved
beardy.
how they were making fun of the teacher wearing his particular sweaters that he was wearing and that kind of thing. So class gets canceled and it's
Yeah. Well,
let's
yeah.
go have a cup of tea
And a cake.
And
Cake.
and cake. So is there a Mrs. or
And he
what
says-
would your wife say?
Yeah, no, I've lost my wife many years ago.
Yes.
ago.
Widow.
He didn't
Clear
actually-
deception, though. That's very sneaky.
I mean,
I don't know. See, that's where I just.
at
I don't think it
first-
was a clear deception. I just. He's not a widow, so you can't
can't
say.
say I'm a
He
widow.
can't say
dead.
widow, but he said
I can't
widow.
say I'm divorced, but I mean, and what he said was honest.
Yeah.
In a sense. And how do you start that conversation? Well,
thank
by
you.
the way,
Yeah.
I've just met you. My wife.
Exactly.
Let me lay something super
Slipping
heavy
in.
on you.
Slipping into
Yeah,
dementia.
I
so.
agree.
But yeah, it's and at some point you should say something, but I don't know that they had
First
reached
time,
that point.
No.
It was the second time seeing each other that
something like
this
that,
came
yeah.
out. Yeah.
Maybe third date.
Yeah.
Then you can talk.
Yeah.
Maybe on that road
exactly.
trip date.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe.
But so learning about Phyllis, about her, she has a car, it's freedom, and she really kind of lit up when she
Yeah.
was talking about those things about,
And Gene
you know,
Kelly in it.
Yeah.
That was so adorable.
Yeah. so cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, that's who you choose, Phyllis? Oh, okay.
Then and then some of the lines that she was saying. First of all, she gets the Spanish album because
Spanish love songs.
she wants to get into the Spanish flair for the language.
No,
For the language,
absolutely.
the Spanish love
Music
songs,
is a
yeah.
great way
Very
to
romantic.
learn. Yes.
And I thought that it was terrific to see the the elders with the youngers. When she goes to see Trixie and Patsy and gets information and talks to them about the gramophone thing and do all that. And then
So many of those scenes are so great when they're all sort of lounging around on the beds and
'cause-
chatting.
we've
Just
always
chatting.
seen the young gals together, and
Yes.
but to have them in the same room and chatting and just gal talk.
And so we got a little glimpse of that with Phyllis when they got the new uniforms.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
she's
yeah.
like,
She got
come on,
excited.
let's open up,
Yeah,
exactly.
And so, to have her kind of be in with the gals
Yeah.
was
cute.
really adorable.
Mm-hmm.
Sister Monica Jones saying, have you ever known Nurse Crane to speak so little, yet say so much? And she goes to bed and she's just like smitten
Sitting and
completely.
giggly and cute. Love it.
Right, so that
give us the
conversation
love.
while they were lounging.
And don't all of you really want that for her, right? For some whatever reason they've made. It's like,
she
why do I want that? But I do. I want her. Yes, I want her to be
You
happy.
want them to be happy
Yeah.
and enjoying life because they give so much of themselves to everybody else all the time.
Yeah, and it was great to see that side of her because you don't often get to see it, and a whole new part of her opened up, and it was like, oh, this is so cool.
She's always business. Now she's a little party too.
And then talking with the gals, and then wanting to get a little polish.
Polish me. I thought that was very endearing. I was like, that's very sweet.
Yes.
I've never
Them
heard
to
that term.
Polish those curls a little.
Nothing
bit.
dramatic.
Yeah, nothing too dramatic.
And the result? Why, Phyllis, you look quite magnificent.
I don't know why. It's a
There
new
we go,
cardigan.
let a little lipstick
It's a new
do.
cardigan.
New cardi. I don't know why.
Just a little. Oh my god.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
Right, so they're making this plan of we're going to go on a picnic. I'm going to buy the petrol. No, we're going to go Dutch. But there
and I'll
is
buy
that
supper.
gas station with a restaurant in it that I've been dying to go to. Okay. Only if I get the flamenco tickets for next week's class.
Right.
So adorable, more adorable.
Yeah. And of course, something's gonna happen.
We're gonna get crushed.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna squeeze
but
our little hearts.
because they laid it in so nicely. The home calls, or what do we call it?
Yeah,
home
house
visits.
visits,
Yeah,
home
house
visits.
calls.
Whatever.
With the
House
pins.
help,
Home visits.
help. Home
Home
help
help.
is what they called it.
Home.
Home help, yeah, and she's got obviously Phyllis gets there first, and because Monica Joan accidentally hit the board and moved the pins around, and all that was laid in. It was like
What is going
Yeah.
So
on?
simple.
And
didn't
suddenly,
even. I just like it was just stuff, but no, everything had some meaning and it all played out nicely, and that's the whole reason why Patsy's there, and the only reason why Patsy's there is so she can see at that moment, so we don't have to have because that Phyllis wouldn't explain that.
No, of
You
course.
have to
Of
see
course,
it.
it would never
Yeah.
get back.
Yeah, so they're there at the same time, and that's when Tom comes in, and we realize he's married.
and it all sucked out of her face.
Just took the wind right out of her.
Took it all
Just-
out of her.
and it was gutted. And then in the car,
Yeah,
jeez.
Patsy, I shan't ask you a thing about it, but you don't have to pretend that nothing's happened. We all do that far too often, and it's utterly exhausting.
Can you relate?
Turn the mirror on myself, she's doing, you know.
Yeah, I thought that was great to have it with Patsy too, because I think she was anybody, obviously, and she even talks about it. One of the things that I thought was great when they were all in the bedroom together, and Phyllis was talking about, Patsy was saying, "I love the way you live your life. She goes, and she was saying, yes, you have to go out there. You have to, nobody's going to give you opportunity. You have to grab it with both hands, and and she is that kind of take charge kind of gal. That the mere fact that she has a motor car and likes to go on these, all those things, and then this happens, and you just go, oh.
Right.
Can somebody get some love that lasts? Please? Gosh, people dying. And
I was happy with my life, but for a moment I saw something else that I neither expected nor thought, and I liked it.
And it goes right back to the metaphor about the docs and what they brought in, and the dream, and people seeing what they don't have anymore, and it goes back to that whole theme of brutal. But and then the way that Phyllis said, "You're so kind to offer me tea." It's just, but again, it always comes back to that kindness. I've always told people, what's the movie about? What's the show about? It's a dignity and kindness. That's what it's about. Dignity and kindness.
Always.
And I don't care how many times they portray it in what way. Always works. I'm so thankful there's a show that actually shows that.
Because we want it back.
Because we don't see it enough in our real lives. Yeah.
Maybe if more people would watch the show.
Yeah, maybe. I know.
Maybe
For example,
They'd be like, that's boring.
Well, clearly,
Dignity and kindness. We want some gunshots.
it still works dramatically, though. That's the thing. And just the way that Mary Cynthia talked to Evangeline, I go, what an example. I mean, how to confront somebody and be kind about it and still make your point and be so effective that she gets it
Absolutely.
without shoving it in somebody's face and making them feel like an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then Tommy shows up at the Donata's house to see.
Yeah, and I loved what Monica Jones says. She goes,
Oh God. I don't want to see him.
Well, I don't want to eat
I don't want to
greens
eat
either.
Oh, she said greens. I thought it was beans. I was like,
Greens.
I don't want to eat greens, but they're good for
But
me.
they're
Yeah,
good
they're
for
very
me.
good for me.
He's good for you, honey.
He is.
Take
But
it
I love
and
that
run.
line.
and then he tries to explain himself, and when she says, "You made a fool out of me,"
Oh yeah.
and that seems like that would be one of the worst things that you could do to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it was one of those situations where considering the time, I could see both sides of the argument.
Oh yeah,
you know?
that's what made it great.
course.
Yeah.
Because here's the deal. I'm not going to be the other woman. You're
Right.
married to this,
Yeah.
and I don't need another friend, which I thought was kind of a sad thing to say, because especially someone like him who has this, great passion for something, as Patsy pointed out, and, because Patsy's the one who sort of helped her see the light, and the possibility. This is a man who's found some great passion after a time of great tragedy in his life, and, possibility. Who doesn't need another friend, especially someone who's going to be so
she
good for
told
you?
Patsy that he opened up something.
Exactly
that side of her that she had not thought of, not
She
sought for.
closed that book.
And
locked
then
it.
I don't need a friend, but I realized that is
Yeah.
something that could be what I want in my life. And so the friend isn't going to make that.
No.
So just
And all I'll see every time I see that is
is
what
the
I
thing
don't have.
like seeing the damn pram or whatever.
Yeah.
Jeez. But thank God, Patsy, because Patsy's own experience of not being able to be with the person that you care about for whatever societal reason there is.
Yeah.
She's saying, "Look, I'm covering the phones," and we don't get to hear the whole conversation. Don't need to, because we get it when she shows up and what's the word?
Something about
I don't know. My Spanish
this
is no
chair
good.
taken.
Ocupado.
Siempre say.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Got to get back on that Rosetta Stone.
So we have a hint. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Well, I know Urdu better.
Right.
But, so
You came, he says.
Yes,
She says, only for the flamenco.
right.
No,
right.
Yes.
So what do we think? So do we think this is setting up a whole?
It better.
You think?
I would love to see more of this.
Because this could be a great little, extremely conflicted, dramatic thing. Because she's always going to have that push-pull thing about here's a person I really care about, but he is married, and I don't think it's not likely that he's going to
He's not gonna
divorce
divorce her
No.
or leave her.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
and you
gonna
wouldn't
be-
want him if he did.
Yeah.
But possibly be the friend that he doesn't want.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then what if what if the wife lives on?
Right.
Man, she's gonna die.
This isn't Downton Abbey. You can't just make that prediction.
I have to. Somebody's got to have like a flourishing love relationship out because Chummies is gone. We got
Yeah.
Dr. Turner and Bernadette got together and they're good. But everybody else has had horrible tragedy. We need somebody to like get love and actually
Well,
keep
don't you
it.
think it's going to be Barbara and Tom?
Tom and Barbara, right?
Because that's what they're hinting at.
Okay.
I mean, we had that moment where he's saying you were the warrior and you know more about marriage than I do, and we had that
true.
cut back to Trixie to see
Green-eyed
that
monster.
again. Yeah. Don't you think that's the next one that's going to happen? I mean, they're
That's
the
gonna
right
be
age.
tension.
I
But
mean,
I don't think that can be like the real. I want the sweet normal love. Like Chummy got her love.
No, but
and it was
between
like great.
but what about the scene between Barbara and Tom when they're talking about you made soup for these guys and
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
you don't still think that's going to happen?
I mean, maybe there it would work. I just would like one of the old ladies to get there.
Oh, you want one of the old ladies? Okay,
Because
okay.
she got open to it. Kind of sucks to shut it down
Yeah.
and like.
No, I
that,
think they're gonna continue.
Yeah, I want
Yeah,
to.
I think so. Because I don't think they would spend a whole episode building this type of flirty
Yeah.
relationship for it to not be,
But
you know,
don't
continuing.
let that one end tragic. Like the young ones, they can have tragic and bounce back, but don't give it to the old. Let us have a good life.
All right, last thoughts before we get into news. Anything about this particular episode that we didn't cover that you want to get to?
I have lots of tears drawn and actual
Yeah.
tears on my.
Yeah, Jared Lantern and all that. Yeah, nice.
We need Kleenex every single time.
I think I got it.
I wonder if the stock in Kleenex or tissues is gone. It goes up every time this
Yeah,
thing airs.
Probably.
Sponsored by
Probably.
Kleenex.
It makes a run on them.
That's
All right, let's
everything
get
I
into the
got.
news
good.
then. Tammy says she has the news.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Because we are English TV fans, just want to point out The Gilded Age, Julian Fellowes' next show, is moving forward. He hasn't written the script yet, Julian Fellowes. I've not, but I'm doing it this year, and he says, and then hopefully shooting at the end of the year.
Oh wow!
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So potentially, could be coming out a
2017.
year-ish from now. Set in the 1880s, The Gilded Age is described as a sweeping fictional epic of the millionaire titans of New York City. Kind of a a prequel, to.
Courtney, would you be interested?
I'm so excited. Like, sorry, that was like my nerd phase in like American history, and I love that. I love it.
And side note, Downton Abbey picked up the Best Drama Prize for the National Television Award last week.
Congratulations.
That's a big deal. Heidi Thomas, talking about her inspiration for Call the Midwife, mentions that her own life had a lot to do with her the storylines and the things that have happened with her. She had a brother who was born with Down syndrome in 1970, and that was part of her inspiration for creating the Down syndrome couple romance in
right. Got it.
series 3, I think it was. And then she said for the thalidomide story, she was profoundly affected by her research and by meeting those who were affected by the drug. She says, I sobbed through the research and the writing, but she says with a small smile, as Robert Frost said, no tears in the writer, no tears in the reader.
Yeah.
So if you're writing this show, you're crying more than
all
we
the
are.
time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
She also said we do public events where we show some clips for Call the Midwife, and then there's a Q&A, and often people get up to the mic, don't ask questions, they just stand up and say, I love Call the Midwife, and start to cry.
That happens here sometimes. What am I going to talk about? I'm just going to...
It just moved me. That's it.
Absolutely. YouTube comments. Catherine Smith says, I was so exhausted after crying so much during episode 2. I'm worried about whether poor Tamara will have survived it.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Anna in Ireland
Yes.
sent something to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Anna.
It's
It's Dr. and Mrs.
Turner
singing. Yes.
not in character.
Not in
Well,
character,
kind of
no,
in
this
character,
actress.
but not in character. But they're both
When I-
excellent singers.
When I fall in love. It's terrific. Thank you very much for sending that. I appreciate that much.
She also talked about Trixie trading one addiction for another.
Yeah, I know. That's, yeah.
But a healthy
talked about that.
addiction.
Well, it is
addiction.
until it goes too far.
Yeah, healthier.
EMC pointing out that they're not a Catholic order. The
Right,
nuns
I
and the
know.
Nuns, they're Protestant.
I misspoke on that.
Yeah. whatever, former cat thing. Amelia Craig says, I'm British and well aware of how highly regarded Call the Midwife is, but I have no time to fit another TV show. I miss you guys so much from Downton Recaps. I've decided that I can make time to listen to the recap on the show without even watching the series.
Look at that.
Thank you.
Well,
That's
glad to
very
have you.
sweet.
We know the struggle.
Yes.
A girl, books, and other things just loves Call the Midwife and Prize, and Vanessa is happy that we're there.
Yay, thank you.
Can we do predictions?
Well, wait a minute. Before we do predictions, wasn't there something that was? Is that
Yeah,
part of the
it's a
predictions?
prediction,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. Then let's move on to predictions.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
So,
There's a drop.
There it is.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I shouldn't fold it that way. Caroline has some great predictions that I just want to read you. I'm just going to read them exactly how she wrote
Yeah,
them.
I love these.
Patsy and Delia will definitely be caught in a compromising position, but the possibility of their secret being discovered will be played out over a few episodes so that we are constantly on the edge of our seats, holding our breath and watching through our fingers whenever they're in a scene together. For this reason, I will be drinking wine throughout the rest of the season.
I love it.
That's
Yes.
amazing.
Thank you very much. God, that cracked
I'll
me
start
up
that
when I
back in
heard
a week
that.
myself.
Sister Monica Joan may be their confidant, Patsy's confidant, but they will be able to distract her with an eclair.
Yes. Anything sweet.
Okay, this is the one I love. Trixie will initially handle the blossoming romance between Barbara and Tom with dignity and grace until something happens to make her realize that she's made a hideous mistake and she should never have let the handsome curate go. Cue much soul searching before she falls off the wagon and into a large Campari and soda. I may join her in sympathy. However, all will not be lost. Dawn Draper will see the photos of Trixie in her nurse's uniform. That's a Mad Men reference in case anybody doesn't know that. And her leotard in the portfolio of an aspiring photographer who has now gone to New York to look for work and decide to use her in a new Lucky Strike cigarette campaign. Lucky Strike, as recommended by midwives around the world to calm the nerves and ease the pain. Trixie moves to the Big Apple and introduces Jane Fonda to aerobics. And final prediction, there will be cake.
When I first read that, I wrote,
That was fantastic.
that was the best one.
Can't top it.
I don't know that I've heard a better one, but
Yeah.
I love those. I hope we get some more of
was
those.
so thought
That's
out.
terrific. That just tickled me for a week.
I did. It's so funny. On the thought of Patsy and Delia,
Yeah.
I feel like they were really setting up that Phyllis will
Yeah.
be Patsy's confidant because they were, Phyllis. Patsy was so there for Phyllis
Yeah.
in this, and there was a lot of admiration towards how Phyllis lives her life,
Yeah.
and conversation about that, and so I really felt like that may be where the the refuge maybe for Patsy and Delia in having someone to talk to. It's complicated though because
I would have thought that too, except for the fact that it looks like if she had not gone to the flamenco thing, if Phyllis had not gone to the flamenco thing, I would have said absolutely. But if she does maintain some sort of friendship relationship with Tommy, I don't know that she would be that confident.
Bond.
because she's going to have Tommy.
distracted.
Yeah, she'd be distracted. They won't. They won't have that thing in common anymore.
Oh, you're trying to say it's not going to work out with them.
I
Predictions.
think now we see Evangeline leaves. Who do you think is going to step up and kind of be the strong voice, the adamant one?
I already mentioned.
Yeah,
it. For me, it was
Phyllis,
already
yeah.
Phyllis. She's already.
It'll
Yeah,
still
she's
be
the one.
Phyllis, yeah.
Yeah, I think she'll just have a great role. What I'm anxious to see is that because Evangeline is gone, I want to see Sister Winifred step forward. And they in the coming up, we kind of saw a scene with her, but I don't know what it was.
She's coming.
Right.
Yeah, but that would be nice to see because it's always great. It's just like they bring somebody off the bench. All right, you're in.
You're in now.
And then
Yeah.
they do great.
Yeah.
Well, and also Barbara, really kind of rising
Yes,
to the
that's
occasion
it.
as well.
Sure.
They began that in this episode, and that combined with this budding romance with Tom,
Yeah.
which of course is going to be complicated.
It's gonna just be messy. She's not gonna want to do it, and Trixie's all over there. Like that's not gonna work.
Do you have any predictions?
I don't have anything new. I just would like for the wife to die, but that's rude to say. Like I just want her to go away.
You're
Write
talking
her
about
out
Tommy's.
of the story.
Yes.
Yes,
okay.
because I really want Phyllis to have a relationship and watch her sort of blossom out
Right.
of the I run the show
Yeah,
the boss lady and let her be the soft, enjoy her extra life because she's like the new age woman. She's driving her cars and wants to take him like that. I think that'll be fun to see happening.
Yeah, that would be fun.
And we also do see in the previews that there might be a typhoid outbreak.
Yeah.
And we talked about in the Christmas special, there was the whole measles outbreak.
Measles, yeah.
So, again, posing the question out there, do you think we're going to see more outbreaks in the future episodes?
Well, typhoid
covering
is such a complicated disease to be dealing with. I heard some history about it recently, and it's very interesting. Super communicable, contagious.
Yeah, very contagious.
Yeah, and I couldn't remember that word. And yeah, I mean, there's always something interesting happening in Poplar.
I know. They
Always
can't get
something
away
in the
from
East End.
Yeah.
John, do you have any
Typhoid's
predictions?
been around
No,
for
I've
a long
already
time,
I said
too.
my doing the thing.
What's that?
Typhoid's been around for a long time, too, because there was, like, early cases in the early 1900s already, and it's 1960.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, weird thing to be coming back in the 60s.
Yeah, in the 60s.
Interesting.
All right. Last
Any-
time?
no,
I said mine during the thing.
Oh, all right.
So,
That's all we got.
yeah,
John's
that's
done.
it. That's it. We gotta
John
get out of here.
is done. We do have to get out.
We're done.
Yeah.
We're running long.
I want to thank everybody for the YouTube comments, the
Oh my
tweets,
God,
and the
that was amazing.
emails as well.
Always.
They're so much fun to read, and and
Caroline, thank you so much. for
yeah,
that.
thank you, Caroline. We love this show so much, and you know, we had a funny little community that came together with Downton Abbey, and some of it is still coming together with this,
Love
and
you
it's really
guys.
it's so nice, and it makes us all so happy. So thank you for the contributions that you make to
Yeah,
us.
and
We
please
really
keep them
appreciate
coming.
you.
We'd love to hear what you have to
Really
say.
do.
What you
Especially
think.
those kind of predictions.
Oh my
Because
God.
my creative
Yeah.
mind is not that creative. I love
Brilliant.
it. It was so fun.
All right,
Brilliant indeed.
Let them know where they can find you.
You can find me everywhere at Stuart Starlet.
Everywhere.
Everywhere
I
on
am,
the universe.
I am at Tamara Berg on Twitter, and my website is tamaracentral.com.
And I'm on Twitter at Serafini TV.
And you find me here next week when we go over another episode of Call the Midwife. Thanks very much. We'll talk to you next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later. Cup of tea.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.